Guys, I was prepared for different results of the meeting between Zelensky and Trump, but what happened shocked me. And so today Zelensky had a fight with Trump on live TV. It all started with Vice President Vance saying that in order to stop the war, you need to talk to both sides, including Putin. In response, Zelensky gave a speech on the topic that Putin cannot be trusted, and you cannot negotiate with him about anything at all. Vance responded by saying that Ukraine has big problems at the front, there are not enough people, and the war needs to be ended. Zelensky responded rather rudely that Vance was not in Ukraine, and therefore cannot know what is enough and what is not. And then Trump took the floor, who again began to summarize the case, that it is necessary to end the war as soon as possible, and also expressed the opinion that Ukraine has problems with the current state of affairs at the front. But Zelensky interrupted him and said that everyone has problems with the war. You have an ocean, it fences you off. But you will feel it, Zelensky said. In response, Trump said that you cannot know that. Don't tell us how we will feel. We are trying to solve your problem. Don't impose your position on us. Zelensky, we are not imposing anything. Trump, you have no right to dictate to us what we will feel. We will be fine. We will be wonderful. We will be strong. We will be powerful. You are not in a strong position now, not a very advantageous one from the very beginning of the war. You are not in the right conditions. You do not have the right cards in your hand. Zelensky, I am not playing cards here. Trump, I am speaking reasonably. Millions of people are at risk. We are on the brink of World War III. You cannot play with this. You are disrespecting our country. You cannot tell us what to do. We gave you $350 in billion weapons, equipment. If you did not have our weapons and our equipment, this war would have ended in 2 weeks. Zelensky, I heard from Putin about 3 days, now it's 2 weeks. Then, basically, only Trump spoke. He repeated again that the course of events in the war is not in Ukraine's favor, and therefore Zelensky should not resist the ceasefire, but on the contrary, be glad that the United States is helping to stop the fire. And generally be grateful. And at the end, he said the key phrase, either we sign the agreement or we leave. This phrase can be interpreted unambiguously. If Zelensky does not want to sign the ceasefire agreement, then the United States stops all support for Kiev. Later, Trump said that he came to the conclusion that Zelensky is not ready for peace. He published a post in which he wrote that today we had a very significant meeting in the White House. Much was learned that could never have been understood without a conversation under such fire and pressure. It is amazing what comes out through emotions, and I have come to the conclusion that President Zelensky is not ready for peace if America is involved, because he believes that our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations. I do not want an advantage, I want peace. He has disrespected the United States of America in their sacred Oval Office. He can come back when he is ready for peace, Trump wrote. It also became known that Zelensky left the White House early. The signing of the subsoil deal and the press conferences of Zelensky and Trump were also canceled. Moreover, Fox News journalist Jackie Heinrich wrote that Trump kicked Zelensky out, he did not leave on his own. The White House says that the Ukrainians begged them to reconsider, but Rubio and Waltz told them that Zelensky needed to leave the White House grounds and return when he was ready for peace, she said. She also said that Trump and his associates were irritated that Zelensky shrugged his shoulders and rolled his eyes during the briefing. The reaction of the world media to the scandal in the White House. Fox News, Zelensky and his team were literally thrown out. There were no handshakes. Reuters, the spat between Trump and Zelensky will likely speed up U.S. investigations into possible violations of aid to Kiev. Sky News, for Ukraine and its European partners, what happened is an absolute nightmare. New York Times, Zelensky decided not to indulge Trump and he exploded. Wall Street Journal, tensions between Trump and Zelensky only escalated at the meeting in the White House. Also, a number of European leaders expressed support for Zelensky after his scandal with Trump. Spanish Prime Minister Sanchez said that Europe should not turn its back on Ukraine, despite the scandalous meeting between Zelensky and Trump in the White House. "Ukraine, we are with you," he wrote. "Dear Zelensky, dear Ukrainian friends, you are not alone," said Polish Prime Minister Tusk. "There is an aggressor, which is Russia, and the people who were attacked are Ukraine," wrote French President Macron. Meanwhile, Trump was criticized by American Democrats. "Trump and Vance are doing Putin's dirty work," said Senate Democratic leader Schumer. "Sorry, President Trump. We believe in democracy, not authoritarianism," wrote U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders. Trump was also criticized by his former advisor Joe Bolton. Trump and Vance announced that they are on Russia's side in the Russian-Ukrainian war, said John Bolton. Trump's associates expressed support for him after the conflict with Zelensky. "Thank you, President Trump, for standing up for the interests of the American people and our country on the world stage," wrote Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. "We will not tolerate political games and disrespect for America," said U.S. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Elon Musk said that Zelensky had destroyed himself in the eyes of the American people. U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham, who has always advocated for support for Ukraine, said that Zelensky's behavior in the White House made it almost impossible for the United States to help him. "I have never been so proud of Trump for showing the American people and the world that this man is not to be trifled with," Graham added. He believes that Zelensky should apologize for what happened, but added, "I don't know if we will ever be able to deal with Zelensky again." To sum it up, Zelensky has fallen out with Ukraine's largest partner today. And he has given Putin a huge gift whose main goal is to deprive Kyiv of American aid, which will sharply weaken the position of the Ukrainian armed forces on the battlefield and, accordingly, will radically worsen Ukraine's negotiating positions. And this, the most dangerous scenario for Ukraine, in which the war will continue, but without U.S. support, has become much closer today. In fact, Trump said this almost directly. "Either we sign the agreement or we leave," Trump said. Can Zelensky still replay the situation, agree to end the war, and return to negotiations? It is possible. But after today, the conditions of these negotiations and the peace settlement will, unfortunately, be worse. Friends, I understand that the duration of events is becoming less relevant for you, but for me, the situation is only getting worse. Those who have been with me for a long time know that preparing reports on this channel has become my main job, and I have no other job for obvious reasons. Lately, the channel has had few views, so I ask for your help. If you have the opportunity to support me with a cup of coffee, I will be very grateful. Thank you very much for understanding and see you in the next video.